Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roll and Keep, the very first Cortex live play official production that we have going on. We are terribly excited to have an incredible cast here today to learn how to play Cortex, to teach everyone out there how to play it, to really introduce Cortex to the world. So the idea behind Roll and Keep is a very central part of Cortex as a game system, and you will come to recognize that over time. But we are calling the show this because we're going to keep this same incredible cast week over week, and periodically we're going to change the types of games that we're playing and sometimes even who is running those games. So it's going to be rotating chairs all around, rotating games. We're really excited to do that. Our first game is one of our, we call them prime settings, called Hammerheads. I'm going to let Cam dig into a little bit more about what that is when we get started. But first, we're going to go around and let everyone introduce themselves, introduce the character that they're playing today, and say where we can find you on the internet. So I am Adam Bradford. I'm the VP of Tabletop at Fandom, and I'm mostly on Twitter at Bad Eye Adam. Joe.
Hi guys, I'm Joe Starr. I'm one of the writers of Honest Trailers. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Starr 187 because I'm a child, and I'm really excited to play with this group of people. I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Mellie. Mellie, say hey.
Hi, I'm Mellie. I am the Cortex RPG Community Manager, and you can find me on Twitter at MellieDM. Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa, you're muted.
Unmute, girl.
Haha, already figuring things out. I'm learning. I'm Vanessa Guerrero. I'm a host on LRA and a writer, and I'm new to Tabletop, and this is really exciting. You can find me under Neskritton on all forms of social media, and I am so excited to play with Adam.
Yeah, well, I already introduced myself a little bit, but let's go down to Aliza, and then we're going to go back around and do characters. And then finally Cam gets to talk. So, Aliza.
Hello, I am Aliza Pearl. I'm an actor, writer, Trekkie, GM, RPG player, and we're just introducing ourselves, right? Okay,
yeah just do that. We already missed the cues. It's fine. It's fine. We're doing this live.
I am at Aliza Pearl on Twitter and Instagram, Appease Aliza on Twitch, and I promise I will start streaming eventually. And should I just start with the characters and we can go back
you
the
do
other
it.
way?
Yeah, that sounds
All
perfect.
right. I am playing Micah Johnson. Micah, M-Y-K-A, is a 60-year-old retired professional ballroom dancer, and she traveled around the world in competitions and has had an illustrious career as both a performer and a teacher and coach. And she loves the grandeur in things. She's very fancy and fashionable, but she also likes to help people, and so she didn't want to retire and then just not do anything, so she decided to join the Hammerheads. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it about Micah Johnson. Back to Vanessa, then? Go back around.
I'm obsessed with Flourish. The second you introduce the character, I was like, I can't wait to see her respond to literally anything. Yeah, I'm so pumped.
It's gonna be obnoxious.
Oh, I cannot wait. Yeah, my character is Doolittle. I love her to pieces. She's an homage to every scientist character in an 80s movie I watched growing up, where they're just kind of in their own worlds and they're learning about collaborative environments, but they're very good and passionate about one thing, and it's just that one thing, and everybody else they're kind of learning from. So she's a lot of that. She's a real egghead, and I'm sorry for the puns, they won't stop. But yeah, I'm real pumped, and actually she inspired a call sign already, which is soft boiled.
Yeah, I'm playing Sam Butters. He is a former Air Force pararescue turned celebrity political corporate lawyer turned cable news pundit turned conspiracy theory podcast host where he sells brain pills to suckers. He thinks Hammerheads is bloated and should be defunded, and he's the worst. And because my favorite character in a disaster movie is the crappy one, who eventually has a building fall on them. And Doolittle gave him his stupid call sign, soft boiled. Mellie, tell us about Nesting Doll.
Yeah, Nesting Doll, aka Anushka Bayaktov. She was like a military kind of network and intelligence ops agent, but then ended up wanting to kind of leave that and leave kind of this history of cover-ups. And now she repurposes her skills to help the Hammerheads and help people by getting them the life-saving info they need, like VPNs, European VPNs for Haymaker, Adam.
That's exactly what happened. So I am playing Hank Haymaker Haddix, and Haymaker was actually his ring name when he was a professional wrestler. So he was a very popular professional wrestler who was a heel, turned face before the end of his career. And he actually left that career because, unfortunately, his house and he lost a dog in a wildfire, and that inspired him to think about the in his mind, more important things in life. And so he started into the training for Hammerheads, and used all of his wrestling connections and celebrity to kind of enroll in the program when he probably shouldn't have been allowed to. But he has become a specialist in firefighting. So that is Haymaker, and we have a completely epic team that has come together here. I can't wait to see it all happen. And the person that is going to be running this shindig is Mr. Cam Banks. Introduce yourself and then get us started.
Hello, I'm Cam. I am your GM for Hammerheads. Cortex Prime is my little baby, and it has been so great to see it have a new home here at Fandom. This represents the first of my actual streaming on live everything, other than a brief stint as Cosmic Skeletor when I ran a Legend of Grayskull demo early in the year. But no, this is something I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time. I'm so looking forward to having these folks benefit from my terrible dice rolling skills, of which I am famous. So this is Cortex Prime. It is a specific version of Cortex Prime, which is a game that helps you build games out of it. And the game that it built in one case was Hammerheads. This is a game about the near future, when climate change and corporate malfeasance and all kinds of natural disasters have gotten only worse. And so a shadowy agency called the World Crisis Agency has formed, managed to get a lot of UN funding and lots of buy-in from governments to sort of help it out. But it's also privately funded in many ways too, which may bring some of Softboiled's ire into it, like, well, what's really going on with these people? So far, the World Crisis Agency has only been helpful. They funded the advancement and building of these amazing vehicles called the Hammerheads, which stands for High Altitude Multi-Mission Emergency Rescue Headquarters. It's a retronym.
It's a mouthful.
I'm proud of that. The Hammerheads themselves are powerful flying sort of ships. They have VTOL capacity. They can go in and out anywhere around the world. They can cross the world in probably about 6 hours. There are 3 of them in use, Hammerheads 1, 2, and 3. This group has Hammerhead 2, which I think is the zippy one. Is that correct? The fastest of them. So this is the one that is the emergency response first on the scene Hammerhead. Later on, another Hammerhead may show up, or another one may be in play, but the ones that these 5 crew members on, and it's their home, basically, their home away from home. The Hammerhead also has a resource module on board, and the resource module is important because this is the sort of the toolkit that the Hammerhead team get to draw their additional resources from, and it can be replaced and recycled around during missions or between missions. And one of the first things that we have to do as a team is we have to pick somebody who is managing the resources. They're a quartermaster, basically. And there are 5 of you, and I am not going to pick who that is. You'll have to do that yourselves. Before you do that, though, there's another person who's important, and that's the team leader. Now, a mission leader or team leader is a role. It is mostly important in the actual game itself because they're the person who determines the order in which everyone plays in a round. Instead of doing initiative, there's a team leader who picks the first person to go. Doesn't have to be themselves, could be somebody else, right? And then as each person has their go, they choose who goes next. So the team leader starts it off, and then everyone else picks who goes next until they're all done. However, there are also crises. Crisis pools are a game mechanic, which I will be talking a little bit about in a minute. These are important because that's the actual goal of each of these scenes, is trying to deal with a crisis that's come up. Multiple crises often. There's usually 3 or more things going on at once. And so when the team leader is picking out who's going first, you all must keep in mind that each crisis pool has its own turn. So you may have a go, you may pick someone else to go, and then at the end of the round, if no one's picked the crisis pools, they just go bang, bang, bang all at once, which can be quite scary. Sometimes the crisis just gets worse. Other times it kind of attacks you. Now, when I say attacks, it doesn't really go out like a living thing. It's just that whatever's going on has an effect on one of your characters, and that's just to sort of show you how things can get worse and worse in that kind of disaster scenario. So you need to pick someone to be your team or mission leader, and you need to pick a quartermaster. And so I'm going to open up to the players to have that little argument themselves right now.
Yeah, I'm going to just shout out that I think I should be the quartermaster because I have a very handy dandy sheet in front of me.
Yeah.
That's an excellent reason.
I second
Yeah.
that.
I second it.
I'm good.
I nominate Haymaker as team leader, both because in character he's a celebrity, and out of character because he's played the game more than us.
I vote yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The good news is, mission to mission, you can switch out the mission leader.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
If you get tired of that, next time we play, you can give it to Butters to ruin things up for everybody, and you can switch that out, and that's all bad, all right? So
Excellent. That's definitely happening.
we're going to start in the middle of things in medias res, which is going to be like you've already got a crisis you're having to deal with, but it is important before the mission briefing that you get to choose what resources go into your resource pools. Okay, so this is kind of Mellie's job, Nesting Doll's job is to do this, but you have to keep in mind that everyone gets to use these dice that come in this pool. There will be 5 different pools. There's a pool for tactical support. There's one that's for what are they?
Hey, I got a sheet. I do. We got medical supplies, food and shelter, IT and network support, land, sea, and air support, and as Cam said, tactical support.
Now, tactical support does not just include like a whole bunch of weapons or anything. No, in fact, most of it is barriers, things to help, do things on a small tactical level. It even includes smoke bombs and other kinds of stuff. If you really want stuff like that, you can grab it from there. These resources replace the need for having complicated equipment lists. Okay, so if you want something to come out of the resource pool and you want to use it from your resource module, you just say, I'm going to bring in a die from the life support thing and add that into my action. Okay, you have to commit to using 1 or more dice when you start, and then once you do that, it's out. So when they run out, you haven't got any left, and that makes things a little bit scary and worrisome. Plus, the more dice you pick out of the resource pool and you want to use and commit them, you don't get to use all of them. You just get the highest rolling one. We'll get to that in a minute. I've got to do a bit of a briefing about Cortex 2, I think, Adam. Is that right?
Whatever you want to do, we can jump in. I think people can figure it out. They've got a VOD that they can rewind.
That's true. They can stop and pause and rewind. Speaking of stopping, pausing, and rewinding, I want to quickly make a note. We will be using something called Script Change, which is a safety tool that came up with by my friend Bo Sheldon, who's a game designer and interviewer. Bo came up with this because he wanted to have a way to just to sort of manage things at the table. Script Change essentially lets you have a rewind. Anyone can call a rewind if you think, that's not good, I want to do that over again. Like if you think that you maybe made a bad mistake, and you want to do a rewind, you can do that. Normally it's a rewind for role play. So if you roll badly, Vanessa, and you say this is terrible, I'm probably going to make you keep it. But if you say I do this thing, no, change my mind, that's fine. That's a rewind.
Okay.
a pause that you stop everything. I might use it sometimes. You can use it if you want to just get yourselves together. You don't want it to just go roughshod and people just keep talking. So I want to pause, and then we'll pause it. You can do a fast forward. If you don't think we want to have this specific scene or something that happens, just fast forward over that. If you may not like anything there, or if you want to just sort of fade to black, that's also fine. Use a fast forward for that. And the last thing is a frame by frame. If you really want to sort of like, hang on, I want to do this a bit slowly. Can you let me give him a moment to think? Can we just frame by frame this thing for a bit so I can slowly talk about what it's going to be? Then no one's going to sort of rush you and make you do it. Cool. And there should be a link to that in the chat somewhere at some point. Okay, so
Yeah, I think
what's that?
I think our superstar mods have been sharing that since we started. So thanks, Aaron,
Awesome.
Lore, and Source, doing a great job.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll give you a brief rundown of what the mission is before I jump you into it, because I know that you want to know what to put your resources into and what you should expect. There is a city, a fictional city, but it's real in this world, called Cortez City on the west coast of the United States. It is somewhere between Sacramento and LA, and it has just been hit 3 hours ago by a 7.2 moment earthquake. This has caused widespread liquefaction, which means the ground's just turned into mush and buildings have started to sink. Also caused surface fractures and landslides and all kinds of things you'd expect in a large earthquake. It's quite terrible. Up till now, local emergency services have been trying to deal with it on the moment. Hasn't been very effective. There's been fires. The population are panicked. And most notably, the city hall is obstructing any outside assistance. They're telling people they don't want to get things involved. Why that's happening is not clear at the moment. It'll come out and play. But just know that you've got an earthquake, you've got fires, you've got people of the city going crazy. And so we want to sort of like have you deal with that. So you've got 7 dice you can split up between your resource pools, those 5 that we talked about earlier. Each of them already has 1 die in it. And you've got 7 more you can split up. And the maximum you can have is 4 dice. So if you'd like to sort of quickly respond to how that's going to work, I think Nesting Doll can make the choices, but you want to get feedback from people like, what do we want? What do we need? And how best can we support the team in that way?
Yeah, I sure do want to hear from you all about where you'd like to see these dice go.
What are the categories? One more time, Mellie.
Medical supplies, food and shelter, tactical support, IT and network support, and land, sea, and air support.
I think we should definitely have some tactical support if it includes barriers, because we're going to have to funnel people.
Yeah, I super agree. How are we on medical skills in general? I don't have that, so.
I have an 8 in emergency medical. And how many of these resources are we picking from the 4?
We pick 7. Or
But
we get
7
7
dice.
dice that we're going to
7
assign
dice.
to them. So it's
got
how
it.
much we're going to put in different places.
But
And
they
on the
already
dice-
have 1 dice in them.
What type of dice are they?
D6s.
Okay.
Oh, they're all D6s. All right,
Yeah.
definitely some medical supply.
Yeah, we got to... Because I think we're going to get some injuries, and I don't think we are necessarily built for
Looking
that
at my
situation.
master list of all the things you have put your dice into when you were doing your character creation, which we should also cover in a little bit, but you've all got no one has taken a D10 in emergency medical. That's not anyone's major specialty. But soft boiled and flourish are the teams to D8 emergency skill training. So
I could definitely help if there's a bird with like an injured beak.
That's very true. Okay, well, I think tactical sports definitely are number 1. And medical supplies are number 2. So let's say we put like 2 into each of those, which will give us a total of 3 into those. So then we've still have 3 dice we can assign. Is anybody passionate about one of those other ones?
Maybe a
Can you
little.
say them again? Sorry.
Yeah, so the ones we have left would be the IT network support, food and shelter, and the land, sea, and air support.
Oh, maybe IT when it comes to getting a mass message.
Yeah, well, I think that doing a little bit of getting around the city is gonna be really good there.
Also, land, sea, and air support.
Mm-hmm.
Land, sea, air support often includes things like those inflatable rafts and live preservers. It's got like cables and things to use for that method. I mean, what you can imagine is this stuff's all been packed into this ship of yours. It's not like it's outside. People don't show up and give you land, sea, air support. It's mostly this. So the IT stuff is for when you want to have laptops, hard body laptops, and impact resistant gear and things that you need to set up a network station on the ground when it's all fallen to pieces around you, which is probably likely in a city like this.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. How do we feel then if we do 2 tactical support, 2 medical supplies, 2 IT network, and 1 land, sea, air? And then we have a default 1 in everything, but those will be our extras.
That works for me.
You want to list those out again for me, Mellie?
Yeah, we've got tactical support, total of 3d6s.
Okay.
Medical supplies, total of 3. IT network, total of 3. Land, sea, air, total of 2. And then just the default 1 in food and shelter.
1D in food and shelter, huh? Oh. All right.
Oh dear.
Cool. So very good, very good. Hank, Haymaker, you've got your ships all packed up. You were very quick to respond because the Hammerhead 2, which I'm sure will get a nickname at some point, the Hammerhead 1 is called Smart Alec, and we haven't really named the second one, but I'll leave it to you folks if you want something cute. It was flying over the Pacific at the time, so responding as fast as possible, you managed to get here within about a half an hour. So we're talking about less than 4 hours after the quake, but it's already a complete mess. And you can see as the Hammerhead pulls in over the coastline, you can see the city down there, Cortez City, is already under a great deal of pressure at this point. You've got 2 pilots in the team who are skilled at piloting as a D8 level, and one of them is Doolittle, which is great. But the other one is soft-boiled. So between the 2 of you, you're the ones who will be most likely to be at behind the stick on this thing. You can fit 4 people up front in the cockpit, and anyone else has to go back in the passenger section or where they have, somewhere to sort of arrange gear and so on. So you may want to tell me which of you has been given the job of piloting this thing right now. I'm assuming Haymaker's up front as mission leader, but the rest of it, I don't know.
Doolittle, all you.
I'm a pilot it.
All right. So you're going to bring it down. What's your plan? What's your plan of attack for this Haymaker? You've already got 3 crisis pools that you have to deal with. I can tell you that. One of them is panicked population. That is a pool of 5 6-sided dice. Okay, so it's a 5d6 panicked population. You've got burning city center, which is 4 8-sided die, 4d8. And you have city hall obstruction, which is 3d8. So the number of dice means basically it's going to take a while to get rid of those. The plan is to use your skills and your talents to get rid of dice. But the size of the dice is also important because if it's a larger die, it's harder to get rid of. So the worst one is probably the burning city center. That's for 4d8. It's a little harder to get rid of those dice in there, and it's also more dice.
And
surprisingly,
what was the obstruction? Sorry.
The city hall obstruction is that's what I was talking about before. How somehow the local government, the mayor, and all the people around him, they're keeping actually it's the county, but they're keeping the state even from coming in and helping out right now. They're sort of blocking that with red tape and cutting off phone calls, or perhaps they don't have the outside connection to do that. Maybe they've got all their lines have been cut. You don't know quite what's going on there.
Okay, and what's the pool?
That's 3d8.
Okay.
So not as hard, it won't take as long to take care of, but it will be a little bit difficult. You have to sort of go there and address that.
I think we're going to have to cool down the heat here, folks.
Yeah. The way the play works is we'll be taking turns in the action scene. You'll have the mission leader picks who goes first, and you all take a turn, and you choose a pool that you want to try and target. So one of these crises you're going to be dispatched to take care of. You can switch back and forth if things get better, you know. We don't worry as much about the movement speed. Like you don't have to track how fast you can go. These turns take place over, let's say, minutes, maybe even half an hour or so. It represents those really cool shots, the sort of important moments of the show when you see someone arriving and doing something. So don't feel as if you pick, say, the city hall that you can't get somehow involved later on and trying to help the population out. You can go back and forth on your turn.
All right.
Cool.
So ultimately, we can strategize though, right?
Yeah. You should now decide what you want to do, how you're going to go about it.
So Hank is just going to say, look, soft-boiled, I think that I want you to check in and work your skeezy magic on whatever is going on with those city hall folks and see if you can get to the bottom of that.
You want magic? I got it.
Okay, sure you do. And we've got to get this heat cooled down. It looks like that's the, they've called in the big guns here. And so that's where we need to focus the most of it. And then Nesting Doll, what was the other thing that's happening? I kind of just dozed off at fire.
Well, we have a lot of people who are panicking, so that is one thing. We might want to, I don't know, blast, oh, Hammerheads here, hooray, you're all safe. It might be a good place to start.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Maybe we'll play my intro music and that'll calm everybody down.
Or they think they're under attack.
Yeah, that could be it too. But you're pretty good at least like, I don't know, calming down animals. Do you think you could do that with people?
Oh, if they're not that different.
It's the same thing.
Flourish, I know that you've got this. Like you probably should focus a little bit on calming everyone down.
Oh, I can do my best. Yes, I'm happy to help with that.
All right. Well, it sounds like I've got this fire all by myself. So you all do all the other things and I'll just go be a hero in the fire. Actually, do we have anything on our ship that even is going to help with this fire or?
Do we know what kind of fire?
You can pull stuff out of the land, sea, air that might be useful. But no, the tactical support, perhaps a little bit of that. I mean, in terms of the resource dice is what you're asking. We can assume that the ship has the ability to land somewhere, let someone get off, and then fly somewhere else. And the pilot's in charge of that. You can also just park it somewhere and then leave Doolittle if you need to sort of do that. Or you can throw the thing into kind of an autopilot where it will just hover for a bit. But it's a bit questionable, especially when there's people all around who could just maybe jump onto it and take off in it. Most people have not seen anything like the Hammerheads in their daily lives. These are very advanced. You suspect that the technology came out of military design and they sort of repurposed it for emergency rescue. But in this case, the Hammerhead 2 is an extremely desirable thing for someone to get hold of if you get what I'm talking about here. So in terms of getting to the fire, that's not hard. I mean, you can just sort of talk about how you do that, and then we'll just go from there. And you can tell us which order you want to tackle this in. So
maybe we should go to the fire. I can see what kind of local assistance is on the scene, and then I can depart the Hammerhead and try to help them there. And then perhaps Doolittle, since you're piloting, maybe you can take Soft-Boiled to wherever he needs to be, and then the three of you can go and see about this crowd situation.
Copy.
Does that make sense? All right. That sounds like the best plan I've ever come up with, so I'm sure it's all going to work.
Now, one thing to keep in mind too, this is especially important for you, Vanessa, is if you are the pilot, you don't have to spend your whole turn flying around. We can assume that's happening in between people's turns. So your turn will be basically devoted to whatever you want to do to achieve some kind of actual measure of success in this. That the pilot doesn't sort of sit there in the plane the whole time going, "Oh, this is really fun." On my turn, I fly someone here, and then everyone feels like they can't go anywhere else. So I assume that Adam, you're going to be the one who wants to go first. That's how it is.
Yeah, I just say, all right, get me close. And then I'm going into the back and I'm actually like strapping on, first of all, my firefighting gear. And I'm very proficient at this. So I'm getting it on really quick. And, it's like not fitting around my giant arms. And then basically putting on a parachute. And I'm saying, just get me close. Don't endanger the ship. And I'm going to prepare to just jump out of the hammerhead.
All right, so that's the back of the thing comes down like it does in all those movies where you see the loading area, and you've got your awesome like yellow Hammerheads firefighting equipment, right? This has been made for you. I mean, I know you've got big arms and it's all very impressive, but they do actually have a crack team of specialists doing this stuff. You bail out there as you approach it. You see when the thing comes down, you can see the fire out in front of you. It is tremendously big. Like if this was in any other sort of place, it would just have taken over most of the landscape. This is a burning city center. You've got multiple buildings that have already caught fire. You can tell that what's happened is a lot of the liquefaction that's happened here has caused underground gas pipes and things to explode. And you can see fissures of steam and flames coming up through the streets. You've got about 2 or 3 large buildings. Now, there's no real skyscrapers here the way they are in New York. It's California after all, and they have designed them to be a little bit earthquake proof. So they're still standing. Nothing's fallen down, but they haven't been really. This is more than they probably designed them for. Okay, so you have to come down somewhere in the sort of city area. There's a large.
Before I leave the ship, I need to specify this for sure. Before I leave the ship, I'm going to say, like, I assume we have communicators. I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can all talk to each other through comms.
And so I'm just going to say, okay, Anushka, do the thing. And then as soon as I hear my intro music on that loudspeakers out of the hammerhead, that's when I'm going to jump.
So what?
And Haymakers
music are you playing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it next time, but it's definitely some kind of honky tonk something going on.
Oh my goodness.
My help here though is that this is a Euro trash remix of the theme song.
Ooh.
And
Hank is just shaking his head and yelling, not over the comm, but yelling on the way down.
But you get a D10 for it. It's worth it.
Oh my goodness. So other people can call in for help if they want. If you feel like you need to have assistance, you can call for it or help from other agents. Assuming that their assistance is actually in range. Like if you're clear across the city and you can't probably help some of the firefighting mission. But you can't lend aid to more than one agent per sequence, per round. But it doesn't use up your own turn to do that, okay? So having someone help out is actually a thing. You can say, hey, can someone help me here? I need some assistance. And then the rest of you can say, sure, I'll give you assist. Just let that be something you're aware of. But if you do use it for someone, you can't then help the next person, okay? So I'm assuming you're going to try and do something with this burning city center crisis pool. And so let's go through that. The way this works is this is a test in Cortex. We have tests and contests. There's no contests in Hammerheads. We don't have that particular rule. All of it is just tests against this crisis pool, okay? And in the test in Cortex, I roll some dice first to establish what the difficulty is going to be. You get to see it. You see how bad it is or how good it is. And then you assemble a dice pool of your own from your character file, going from attribute to training package to which of your 3 distinctions you think is most appropriate. And if you want to mess around with the special effects on your sheet, you can do that too. And then if you want help from someone else, they can lend you a die. But the die that they're going to lend you is their relationship die to you, not yours of them, okay? Doesn't matter how well you think of someone if they're helping you, it's how they think of you and how much they think about you. And then you roll those dice, then we just add the 2 best dice together, Cortex style, and we'll see what happens. So let me just pull up my little magical screen. Thanks to the wonder of...
So Cam, as I am floating down with the parachute, do I see local authorities like firefighters on the scene?
You can see a number of people. Yeah, you're floating down. You can see a number of people down there who probably are the city's first responders. They are really out. They're overwhelmed. Okay. Luckily, most of the people who are down here, the population, have fled from here, but they're clogging up the streets and the roads around the city center. The city itself, all the highways just backlogged. There's no way for anyone to get into the city center anymore. So the people who are actually here down there are kind of like fighting an uphill battle. Like it's no estimation of this is going to be successful for them. But you will be able to sort of narrate, maybe bringing some of them in to help or doing that. That's not going to have any specific kind of mechanical dice representation unless you want to spend a plot point to create an asset on the scene. So you all have
I'm really just trying to see, you know, as I'm floating down, I want to try to angle towards whatever looks like, whoever looks like they're struggling the most.
Okay. Yeah, there's one fire truck. It's got people, there's fire all around them. They've already plugged themselves into the city water supply, but you pretty much guess that it's going to run out real quick. Like they've got all their water mains have gone down, right? So they may be pulling on a tank that's going to be out, and that's it. They've got foam suppression. That's not working too great. These people are just, they're losing hope real quick.
Okay, that's where. So as I'm doing that, though, does it look like does it look like they're going to be trapped in there, like that the fire is going to surround them and trap them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give this fire another 20 minutes, and it's going to take them all out probably. Unless someone gets involved, which I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I will try to do. So at this point in time, there is a vector for escape, though.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, okay.
Correct.
All right.
If you had to, the Hammerhead could also haul people out too. But you get the impression that if you were to, you know, take care of some of this fire, you could get a lot of the people who are fighting it to a bit more of a safer area to take care of it.
Okay.
There is a large central kind of a plaza in the city that doesn't have any flame in it, and that's where a lot of the people who are still here have gathered. But it's also where like 3 fire trucks have all kind of just sort of log jammed themselves in, and they're fighting stuff in all directions. But it's also a great place for you to come down and land if you need to do that.
Okay, that's where I'm going to land.
All right, I'm going to do my magic roll now. You'll see what I'm doing, I think, on your character files. I don't know whether the folks at home are going to see it, but we'll see. This is 4d8. This is to establish the difficulty you have to worry about. I roll the whole crisis pool when I do this. And I'm going to add 2 of the dice together to give the for my total. You'll see that once I do it. Chunk. Oh, gosh. All right, so that's the worst possible result for you. I've got 16. 16 is the total you have to try and beat with your dice pool.
Oh, wow. All right.
I mean,
so
makes sense. It's the first go and everything's bad.
All right. So with this, Cam, just to clarify, so I can more or less narrate a lot of the flavor here.
Yes.
As to what specific actions I'm taking. And at the end of it, I'm going to mechanically be rolling against the numbers that you just had there. Okay.
That's right. You'll talk about what you're trying to do, and then we'll find out whether it works. Okay. Now, this is true for all players. If you want to, you can talk about how far you go, what you're doing. You can role play it the way you'd like to, and discuss even incidental characters who you want to help you get out of the way or that kind of thing. There are no game moderator characters here as such. They're just the people who are part of the background of the story, which you can bring in as much as I can.
Okay, so what I would like to try to do, because these are horrible odds, as I am floating down, I noticed that there is actually a reservoir, water tower, small water tower at the top of one of the buildings. And I'm going to try to angle to a place that I think that if I could break the water tower and release the water up from the top of the building, that it will actually clear out a path for some of the people to get in a better position that are currently getting trapped. All right, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to try to angle there, and then I am ultimately trying, and if I can find something on the top of the roof, or if I have some equipment, we'll say that I have some kind of multi-tool that is like a crowbar and everything else, and I'm trying to find as much leverage as I can, or whatever I can, to break the legs of this where it will crash off of the roof and the water will go out below.
That's a pretty impressive feat you want to try there. I think that's yeah. So why don't you put together? Tell us how you're building your dice pool as you do it.
All right. So I am definitely brute forcing this. So this is going to be physical for sure in the way that I'm doing this. And that, could be detrimental because he might not understand fulcrums very well. But either way, he's going to try to just pull this down at this point. If I can apply firefighting because I'm trying to do the water, I'm going to do that because I'm very skilled there. Okay. All right. So firefighting there. And then, this either is going to be because I was a professional wrestler and physically endowed, or I can do this all day. Either way, this is like he's relentless in what he's trying to do here because he thinks it's going to clear a path for these people to escape.
I like the second one. I think this is a very much an I can do this all day moment.
Okay. All right. And then this is where I don't think there's a lot of help that could probably be provided here. So it's probably not going to quite apply, but are there any SFX that are going to help me at all? No, I've got two 10s in there. I have a chance.
Here's something to think about. Most of the SFX have either two things. Either you can spend a plot point, you all start with one of those, and you earn more when you use your distinctions to hinder you. Like if it's going to get in your way, you can use to hinder you and get a plot point from that. But some of them actually add to the crisis pool and make the crisis worse in order to make things better on your side. So for example, if you add a d6 to this crisis pool, the fire, you can double your attribute die when you're connecting to your old life, which you could, if you had decided this was going to be a wrestling thing, you could say, just like in the days of the ring, I was leveraging this. We could kind of go with that. But in this case,
can I step up the attribute die to a D12 because I think that's going to give me a better chance here. And so basically with the with that part, I'm trying to step up the physical die here.
I'll let you do that. Spend your plot point, so that's going to be gone.
All right, so let's step that up. All right. Wish me luck, everyone. Godspeed. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh my goodness. So close. So close. I cannot believe that D12 did so badly right there.
Yeah, but it would have been a great effect if you'd actually succeeded. So you got a 15. And you're out of plot points. You want to go ahead and narrate this because I'll let you decide how this doesn't work. To the extent you did a pretty good job. I mean, if this was any other kind of role, 15 would have been pretty good, but you couldn't get 16.
All right. So as I land and I'm kind of scrambling and looking around for something to help kind of pry this apart, it's not working. I finally just throw the multi-tool down and then I just grab it and, cap helicopter style, just start like trying to pull the water tower down, and the music swells and it looks like for just a moment, sweat beading on my face, that it might happen, and everybody could swear that the metal in the legs bends just a little bit, but it's just not quite enough. And then Hank finally just lets go with a big sigh and says, all right, that's not going to do it. And then I'm going to just go over to the side of the building and look to see if, first of all, there's any kind of fire escape or anything that I can get down to the ground level, or if I can, try to, in a hazardous way, repurpose the parachute to just get down to the ground where I can get closer to the firefighters at this point.
All right, I'll let you do that second part. There's no way off the roof that you can see, and you're like, doesn't work. So you kind of quasi parasail down to the ground, and that's where we leave you. Okay. Who's going to go next, Hank?
I am going to go to soft boiled and see how that's going with the city council.
All right, so I'm looking out the cockpit window, looking at Haymaker do this, and I kind of glance at Doolittle, and I say, did he just try to drop kick a water tower?
Yes, he did.
All right, cool. All right,
I'm using that one.
I'm gonna get myself on the radio with the mayor so that we can get him off his high horse and start getting local first responders and all that good stuff sort of under us on the org chart.
All right. So this, you've got this great shit. The Hammerhead has a lot of cool take on it, including pretty much a broad spectrum of communications gear, which you can access from the cockpit, right? And that means getting through to the right people. That means getting on there. It also includes CB radio if you really had to do that. So assume you can reach the people you need to reach. That doesn't really cover the human element. If someone doesn't want to have anything to do with you and you talk to them, then we can't address that part of it. So just assume that part's good. You can talk to them, and then we'll go there. How are you going to try and approach this whole issue? Are you doing kind of a fact-finding role for this first one to see what on earth's wrong?
I'm going to talk my hope is I can get the mayor on Hammerhead Zoom or hologram or however it is we're going to connect, and just sort of talk him down. I'm gonna dazzle him a little bit with my celebrity.
Okay. Well, he's gonna know who you are for sure. Everyone in America knows who you are.
Absolutely. What's the mayor of Cortez City's name?
It's Elwood Carver.
All right. Okay. So what I should do is I should put my dice pool together, and then we'll sort of role play through it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll roll first to show you how bad it's going to be. Now it's only 3 dice. You may not have the same problem you got from that Adam had, but let's see. Okay, now this is a bit better. So here's what happened this time. I rolled an 8. I rolled a 5 and a 3 and a 1, and the 5 and the 3 becomes an 8. So that's the total you're going to beat. Might be easier to beat than 16 was. But I also rolled a 1, so that's a hitch, or in my case, it's an opportunity. The reason that's important is if you wanted to, you could activate that to step down one of your stresses if you had some, or to step down a complication or something like that. But there isn't anything right now, so it's kind of a waste of time. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
What's useful about it, though, is that I can't use it in my role. I can't use it for anything. It doesn't count. So I just get 8. 8 is all I have.
All right, great. So here's how I think I'm going to approach this. From my attributes, I'm going with social, which is a D8. With my training, I'm going legal specialist.
Yep.
And then I could play this. My quirk is called My Daddy Always Said, because I'm folksy. So I could try to charm him. But I think it'd be interesting if I use my life before as a hindrance, because I'm assuming that on a West Coast city, I'm not particularly beloved. So I'm going to use my life before as a pararescue person / celebrity lawyer / Claypool News pundit / podcaster as a hindrance. So I'm going to put a D4 in there.
Yep. So that you get a D4 instead of a D8, which is great. And you also get an extra plot point from that. So now you should have 2.
Okay, perfect. And then relationship. I don't think anything really applies, so I think I'm gonna roll what I got.
All right. Here's the thing: if you want help from someone and they want to narrate how they want to help you, it doesn't have to be completely about the reason that they're friends with you or whatever. You're basically saying, "Hey, can someone give me a hand?" And in this case, for example, I'm not saying you should, but you could say, "Hey, do you want to put a good word in for me here, Hank?" However, right now, I think that Haymaker's kind of busy with jumping off roofs and so forth, so it probably wouldn't be a good time.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've got it. All right.
And it won't use up their turn. They can help you if you want, but you have to call, right? They can't offer it. Well, they can offer it, but you don't have to take it.
All right, great. So I call back because I don't think she's in the cockpit, but I'm like, Flourish, How about you want to play a little good cop, bad cop with me?
Of course. What would you like me to do?
Just be charming good cop.
All right, I can do that.
All right, here we go. So
what is Micah? What is Flourish's relationship with Sam Butters?
Well, she believes that soft-boiled is a liability. So she definitely wants to help so that things don't go bad.
I like it.
So that's a D6.
All right, you get a D6 for help. That's great there, Joe.
Okay, great.
Add that D6 to your...
How do I add that?
There is a little icon up at the top there that lets you add in. Yeah.
Bam. Got it. Sort of.
You got to click and drag it.
Aha.
The wonder of
Right.
technology.
Got it. Okay, I'm a grown man that understands technology. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna roll this guy.
All right. Well, okay. So you got a 7, which is not 8, right?
It is not.
It is not.
The good news is, so all you have to do is beat the difficulty. You don't have to equal it, which means you only need 2 somehow. Now, the good news about this is you've got a dice still sitting out there not being used. It's a D6. In fact, interestingly enough, it's the one you got from Flourish. If you spend a plot point, you can pull that into your total and add it up included. So that's a plot point spend, and it makes your total of 7 go up to 10.
Okay, well then I'm definitely gonna do that.
And I'm sure that's what you went to do with using your life before as a hindrance to give you some extra points. So you might as well spend them when you have them. And I think you can just move that down from your dice roll thing and drag it.
I don't think if it will, but we might have to do math in our heads, Joe.
That's fine. 10 points is good.
I'm sorry, Joe.
All right. Initially, here's what happens. You get hold of a city planner person, some official, right? You don't get hold of the mayor. And the city planner person is very much likely the kind of person who wants to get in between the mayor and anyone else, especially in a time of crisis like this. But, and they don't really want to talk to you. They don't really sort of buy into this. But when Flourish gets on the line as well and spends a little bit of that, it turns things around to the point where you do get the mayor. At least you've got an arrangement to talk to the mayor. So you can take a die out of this pool because your effect die, which you got a D10 effect die there, is bigger than the dice in my crisis pool, which means rather than stepping the crisis pool dice down, you can remove one entirely. Okay?
Okay.
So you've just cleared away one of the roadblocks between you and the mayor. That's what I'm talking about. And what was the specific? Maybe you want to narrate that. What was the tag team? How'd that kind of manifest out?
Oh yeah, so I get this guy on. Howdy, sir. Who am I talking to?
This is Michael Fitzwilliam. I'm the city planner. I don't really have a time for this right now.
Mr. Fitzwilliam, just going to take a second of your time. Sam Butters, Buttersworth Podcast Network.
Did you say Sam Butters?
Yeah, so that's right. I'm up here representing the Hammerheads. We see you guys have a little bit of a situation. I understand there's a little concern about jurisdiction and overstepping. And listen to me, son. I am the first person that understands, big government overstepping XYZ. But look, you need some help. You need some help. Like my daddy always said, you can't climb a tree without going out on a limb. Okay. So
did you say Hammerheads?
Yeah, I did.
You're working with the. Well, I don't think we have any. No. The mayor is not. He can't come to the phone.
Well, hey, I tell you what. Let me. Are you an arts guy? This is a great arts town.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a frequent patron of the arts. Why does that matter?
Well, then you will love the fact that I'm not the only one up here. My friend, you of course will recognize my friend Flourish as a patron of the arts here. I believe she danced in Cortez City. What, last year?
He doesn't know call signs. What?
Pause. He would have said Micah Johnson or rewind.
Yep, cool. Yeah. That's good.
Hi, it's Micah. How are you, sir?
Micah Johnson?
Yes, it's me. I was just there judging your last year's ballroom dance competition.
Well, but ma'am,
Cortex.
I thought you were retired. This is quite a surprise.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was hoping to come back in more dance capacity, but we are happy to be here, flying over your city to give some assistance, however we can.
Look, I'll do what I can. I'll try. Just give me some sort of contact information and I can get back to you. But Micah Johnson on the phone. Wow, the mayor's going to find out how this is very. So you've done that. You've taken a die away now. That's only 2d8, which is good. Probably your next round, you'll have to try and get closer to this mayor situation. Maybe figure out what's going on. But that was very useful assistance and teamwork. Great. Who's going next there, Joe?
I'm gonna give it to Flourish.
All right. So the Hammerhead actually is going to be. This is all in the air right now. So, Aliza, then I think you can have Doolittle drop you off where you want to go. So what's your plan?
Okay, so in terms of the panicked population, it's pretty much all. I'm guessing it's all over the city. Is there a focal point of where people are? Or?
Yeah. So part of the role will be to sort of help determine that. But I think what we'll also just say right flat out, you know from looking at this, you've got like a city. You can pull up kind of a map and see where all the crisis points are and that kind of thing. Traffic is just it's roadblock everywhere. There are two main highways going in and out of Cortez City, and they're the ones that are the most problematic. If you can clear those or get people to stop trying to just all leave in the same time and maybe manage it a bit, like use the zipper, then maybe you can get more people going out and then also bring in more help from the outskirts, suburban areas into the city to help out. So you think that's what it is. The central business districts, highway area, ramps and so forth are just clogged.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it would be helpful to put some type of emergency temporary signage down there, so that people can, like you said, zipper and just chill and try to manage the traffic by giving them some directives on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like the city tried to do something like that, but it quickly got knocked out of place. It wasn't up to scratch. So you got to try and organize a bit of a way out with that. So that's cool. I will put together my pool, and it's 5d6. So it's quite a lot of dice, but they're not very big.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, you have 1 plot point. If you want more, you can use your distinctions as a hinder, but I don't know if you need to for this one. Let's see how bad it is for you. All right, I got a 6 total. I also got a 1, so that means that there's an opportunity if you wanted to activate it, but again, there is not really anything you need to sort of diminish or do anything with, so you can leave it there. So you have to beat a 6 on your dice pool.
Okay.
This is your first time using this, which is going to be interesting. Let's see how this goes.
Literally first time. Okay, I'm trying to think of my approach to this. So if I'm trying to put down some sign, or I'm wondering if it would be helpful to like fix the signage or just try a different approach since the signage didn't really work the last time.
Yeah, I mean the Hammerhead has a lot of that. I mean you've got some supplies. That's what you could use the tactical dice for if you wanted to do that. Commit some tactical resource dice to help you do this, right? That would represent really good signage and really good sort of like funneling of people.
Okay.
The question I'm wondering though for you is, are you actually getting out of the Hammerhead to do this? Like, is Doolittle dropping you off, or do you want to sort of do a low sort of fly thing and just heft things off the back of the plane, or what's your plan?
I'll get out of the plane and try to do this.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to just dump some signs down on the road.
Cool. So if you want to use some resources, we haven't done that yet so far. So let's see how that works. You can choose any and all dice if you want, up to 3. You've got 3 of them in the pool. What you do is you commit them first. You roll your normal dice pool together, which we did before with everyone else so far. Once you've done your total and figured that out, you then roll separately the resource dice, and you choose the highest one, and add that to your total right away. Because you're instantly going to get a better result than you would if you just rolled your normal dice. So it's a two-part thing.
Okay.
So if you want to just spend one, that probably would be plenty helpful. Or you could go with more. The reason you'd spend more is to get a better chance of getting a high number. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Is there a limit to how many resource die we can use, either per turn or?
No. They have to come from one resource pool, and you can use as many as you want. It just means that no one else can use them once you spent them.
So they're used up after I use them. Okay.
For the entirety of the scene, Cam, or
Yeah, for the rest of the session. And the only way to get them back is spend some downtime refueling or restocking, or you can add a d6 to the crisis pool that you're dealing with, and then we sort of assume that some more got airdropped, or you kit bash something together to get more, but you're making the crisis a bit worse just to give yourself more resource. But it does refresh the entire pool. Like if you had 4 before and they're all gone, adding a dice to the crisis pool will give you all those 4 dice back. But for right now, yeah, if you spend them, they're gone.
Okay. If everyone's cool with it, I'd like to use 1 tactical and 1 IT, because I'm thinking IT-wise, it could be, it could help boost the visibility of the signs. Maybe even it could be like, tune your radio to this station to get emergency info, that kind of thing. Is that cool?
Yeah, well, that'll still be only one of them will actually be counted, right? So you're rolling 1 from each, but the highest
If
rolling
you
one.
want to represent the ITs, Nesting Doll can help and get those radio signals right for you.
Okay. Instead of using that from the resource?
So then you have the tactical one, and then the other thing is me helping you.
That would be great. All right.
Cool. So let's take 1 die off the tactical. Mellie, have you got that taken care of? Cool.
Yeah, I do.
Quartermaster. And then you can put your dice pool together there, Aliza. So that, like what people have been doing, is just going through attribute first, deciding which of those.
I mean, they're all the same, so this is more like narratively.
Yeah.
So I'll just say physical to see how quickly I can put these up and effectively.
Cool.
Crowd control seems like a good training.
That's what it falls under. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then distinctions. So ballroom dancer, find the grandeur and everything, or always wants to plan in advance. Actually, I'm going to say this is going to help me, because when giving people directions so that they know what to do is exactly what I like to do and receive. I like to get directions from people.
All right. So which one is it? It's your quirk?
So it'll be always wants to plan in advance.
Nice. Okay.
And I give you a D8.
Thank you very much.
Nice. Oh, isn't that nice that people think well of you?
Oh.
Thank you. Trying to
So
add.
yeah, Aliza, there's an icon up there that you can expand the dice and then drag one over.
Oh, you
Do
drag
see
it. Got it.
Drag it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. All right. Okay.
Now you're going to be rolling the resource dice afterwards, so just roll this first, and we'll see how good it is.
Okay.
Even if you didn't need to use the resource dice, it still gets spent. Oh wow!
Ooh. That's a good roll. Got 11.
Ah, this is my first time you've got a hitch though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend one of my crisis dice out of the population 5d6. To activate that, I have to spend a die from the crisis pool. So I spend one of those d6s. It's gone. So now it's only a 4d6 pool, which is good. But I'm giving you a complication, which is going to be d6 complication. No, some stress.
Oh, okay.
I think complication is better. So what I do is I make a complication, and that's a die as d6 complication onto you that affects you, and that is let's see, it's going to be fame, right? So the problem is you've got these people, you're coming down there, and what's going to happen is you being here during this and having that whole sort of celebrity status is going to get in your way next time. For right now, it doesn't. But there's going to be a d6. The cost of fame complication, which I'm going to just create. All right. So that's cool. Your 11 actually is great. That beats the total that I rolled, which was a 6. And in fact, you beat it by 5 or more, which is a heroic success. You did really well.
Woohoo! I can put up signs.
And
With
we
a
have really
heroic
good news for
success, that
heroic
means
success.
you step up the effect die by 1 step. So your D8 becomes a D10, more than enough to get rid of another die from this crisis.
And it also means, right, Mellie? I'll let you do this.
Oh, yeah.
part.
Yeah, we are going to give away a copy of the digital version of the Cortex Prime game handbook for every heroic success that our agents managed
Cool.
to get. So because of
Mhm.
Flourish, we're going to, and the mods will get that up so you'll see what the, activation code is there for y'all. But thank you to Aliza for that.
Thank
That's a
you.
nice sign.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some heroic signage.
Yes, they're amazing. They're like beautifully painted. Well, some of them are like neon signs, digital, everything, every type of sign.
It also helps having a veteran professional dancer doing sign spinning. It just
Yes. Yes.
It's the paso doble of signage there.
Yes, exactly. Very dramatic sign spinning.
I'm going to say, so what the net result of all of that successful stuff was he took out 2 of the dice from that pool, making it now only 3 d6, which is very good. So that's cool. Who else is going to go next after you, Elise? You've got Softball and Haymaker have both gone. And so now you've got a choice of either Nesting Doll or Doolittle, or you can choose one of the crisis pools to go now, because they haven't acted yet.
Oh, that's right. Have we hit each one of them once? Well, actually, I'm gonna say, why don't we have Doolittle step in?
Okay, doke. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and try and take care of the rest of the panic population pool so we can smooth out everything else for us.
Sounds good. All right,
All
so you're currently flying the Hammerhead over that sort of. You've let Micah go out there, and she's done an amazing job with their signage. But you're sort of circling around looking for other stuff. So what are you trying to do, and how are you going to do it?
So, let's see. People aren't that much different from like panicking birds, but usually when there's like a sound and they escape a tree, they go up because that's a big open clearing. So we need to find a big open clearing and basically make essentially a giant exit sign for where they should be going. So I want to try and find an open area and intercept, basically turning screens into an exit sign, a video that tells everybody where they should be going and how to get there.
Oh, very cool. So you're commandeering the signage of the road signs and things and so forth in the city, right?
Yeah,
There are a
everybody
lot of
needs
these
a sign.
big billboards that are electronic, right? And those are
Mhm.
pretty cool to try and take over.
Yeah, so let's try and take those over, and I want to try and talk people down and calm them down a little bit.
There is a very convenient Zippy Mart, one of the big box stores that we all know and love, Zippy Mart. It is down there and it has a huge parking lot. People kind of fled there in a hurry when there was an earthquake, and it's mostly empty. But all their cars are now on the streets and the highways and sort of taking up space. But it would be a great place for you to sort of get people to sort of go back to. It's one of the ones near the off ramp or the sort of highway entrance, right? The kind that you get off on the highway and go there.
Yeah.
So if you want to sort of do that, that's probably a good plan too. Let me just
Okay.
pull the dice in. There are only 3 now, so this might not be very hard at all.
Okie doke.
So I will roll, and I get 8.
Okie doke. All right. So let's see. What do I want here to try and help me stand up to this and intercept these billboards? Definitely want to use my crowd control because that's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I just drag this over like that.
Do you have a network specialist?
I do. Network specialist is an 8, and my logistics is also an 8.
So I think it's probably more likely one of those two than crowd control, because you're really, I know you're doing crowd control, which is your best thing, but the means of you using it, well, I'll let you do it, is if you spend an IT resource dice out of the thing to represent it somehow. Or no, you can't call Anushka because she's already used her assistance.
Let me see.
We have 3 of those dice, so I say use them.
Let me see. Where do I find them on here?
Oh, they're not on there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to add it into the pool, there's a little icon top right that's a die icon that
Resource
you can
dice
click
get
on.
rolled afterwards. You don't need to work.
Oh,
We
yeah,
didn't actually
resources
roll it.
after. Yep.
We didn't roll a resource dice for you, Micah, actually, did we?
No, we didn't.
It could have been even better than what we got, but that's fine.
Wow.
You did so well. I'm just not.
I figured we didn't need it, so.
We'll just keep them. Yeah.
It still goes away if you didn't use it, but that's fine.
Got it. All right.
We got
so
lots.
in that case, I'm going to go ahead and use that resource dice. So in here, do I want to put crowd control or IT? I mean, not IT, network.
I'll let you go with crowd control. I think
Okay.
you're using your knowledge of people's behavior.
Okay.
You
Anything
said
else
you
I
were
wanna-
trying to calm them down, right? So
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
So in
Oh,
addition
and you
to
can actually get it. You can get it right off your character sheet too. Your character file has a. If you just move it over there.
let me see. Why won't you let me drag you? There. All right. So I got crowd control in there. Anything else I want to throw in there?
Yep. You get an attribute.
Okay.
In this case, probably mental.
They're in mental. And that's also a 10.
Oh, that's good. And then one of your 3 distinctions that you think is going to be useful in this. They're all D8s, but it's more about how you role play it.
Okay. So I got my life before, which was animal cognitive psychologist. I got my approach and attitude, which is there are no alphas in a pack. And my quirk and quality, which is that I'm obsessed with eggs and making the perfect omelet. And that you have to crack a lot of them to make a perfect one. I think I might go with there's no alphas in a pack because I want people to start thinking in a group mentality.
Cool.
So which one do I click on? Is it the little 8 or the 4?
The 8.
Okay. Cool. All
I
right.
think that, and Vanessa, just this is going to work just fine, but I think you're doing it manually. You should be able to, on the sheet, click on like where the distinction is, and it will actually populate over there in that in the dice pool.
Okay. And then I just hit roll once they're all in there.
Yep.
Got it.
But if you're
Roll
getting
it.
help from, are you getting help from Nesting Doll?
Oh, I was gonna
Gosh.
roll the IT.
Yeah, I
resource.
used my help already.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. Yeah, yes, we're gonna roll the T. Okay, you got 17. Holy cow. Okay, so
Yay!
that's really good.
Ooh. That's
Also,
before rolling the
Yeah.
extra d6.
let's find out how much you would have got if you'd rolled the extra D6 as well, because you spent
Okay.
1 dice from IT. So I'll keep that in mind. I know that's 17 and D10. Go ahead and clear that, and then let's see, roll a D6 by itself.
Okay, so I hit end turn.
Yep.
D6 by itself. Doink.
5. So
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so you had to beat 8.
Yep.
And you got 23. I'm going to say that's probably vastly more than what you needed to do. How many times is that? Like 3 times? 15 points more? No, not
About.
quite.
Bird's eye my thing, not math.
Gosh, it almost is.
So I'm gonna say it's about 3.
Did you say 23?
Yeah.
Then yeah, it's 15.
50. That's 3 times. Heroic success once, twice, 3 times. 3 steps up from what you had.
Yep.
Amazing. You take out 2 dice with that. And it's a heroic success, Mellie, which, what does that mean?
Yeah, we got a giveaway in the chat. The mods are already on it. Is exclamation point do much.
Perfect.
Too much.
I get it.
I do much more than that.
All right. There's only 1 die left in that pool. It's not going to be hard to get rid of the populations panicking with all your help. I mean, you've got this, everyone's moving to the safe places. You've got The signage and everything else is very cool. So now it's either you're going to either make Anushka go next. Nesting Doll can have her turn, or you can let the one of the crisis pools go.
Okay, let me see. So we got a giant hang in there sign that's on the screen. And everybody's super calm because we're a talented team of agents and one podcaster.
Excuse me,
no-
there are 2 podcasters. I only have 3 subscribers so far, but I'm working on it.
For today.
And she's Russian, so
Oh,
they're all bots.
Finally.
Exactly. So I'm going to pass this on to Anushka.
Oh boy, I feel like it would be wrong to not get rid of that 1d6 before Cam makes it into something worse. So I think that I'm just gonna, you know what? We got these messages going out and everything, but there's some people that are probably not, you know, they don't pay attention to signs. They aren't looking at, you know, they dismiss the emergency alert on their phone. So I'm gonna make it completely like unavoidable. So while Soft Boiled and Flourish are on the phone, I want to have been like hacking into, or not hacking, but trying to, you know, figure out what the signal the mayor's office is on, so that I can basically broadcast out of that and send it to everybody. So they're just going to get endless phone calls and texts and social media messages blasting them in the most annoying fashion possible. Definitely some Euro trash coming out of their phones. Yeah. Unavoidable.
And California loves it when all the social media goes live with updates and things, right? Everyone listens to it in California.
We do super well.
So I'm going to use my mental for getting into this system, my network specialist.
Let me roll my my single die first. I mean, I've got to show you how bad this is going to be. You know, if this is a hitch, I'm just going to let you do it. I'm not. Hang on. Oh. Yes. So I rolled a 1 on my single d6, but I don't want to take the. That's effectively a 0. So whatever you roll, Mellie, is going to be how much you beat it by. So just go ahead and put together a thing. We want to show everyone how good this is. This is fine.
Great. So yeah, I got my mental, my network specialist, and you know, I'm gonna take a hinder here. I'm gonna say, oh, I don't know. So, but these are just so fitting for me, so I can't really hinder my secrets or the enemy of the people. I feel like I'm just getting that out there. Can't hinder myself on this. I'm doing what I'm best at. I'm gonna just roll these very high dice. 10, 10, 8. I rolled really, really good. Can I like give somebody an asset or something?
Yeah. I mean, sure. Let's hand it over. You need to give Hank some help because he's really suffering. He's got nothing. You 3 took out this population panic. He just sits there trying to kick over a water tower, not doing a whole lot. So maybe if you want,
it bent.
Yeah, so maybe
little.
like as like the roads are kind of clearing, is because everybody's going the way that Doolittle has sent them, taking the proper routes, and nobody can avoid it now. And this like message blast goes out, and it gets the attention of some like, you know, volunteer firemen kind of level people that kind of ping in like, oh hey, how can we help? And I'm able to get them connected into Hank's comm so he can get them over there.
Yeah, so normally what happens when you step up a die past a 12, I mean, you can then add an extra effect die of a d6 or higher, right? You keep stepping it up. So what you did, you rolled a d8 effect die, which is more than enough to get rid of my d6, right? Because it's bigger. But you rolled a 17, which is 3 times, just like what Vanessa got before, which is like clearing it way ahead of the necessary roll. So that's 3 steps, right? So, also there's another, we've got another heroic success. That's really good. You guys are doing really well for that. What comes out of that is that you've got a D12 effect, which gets rid of the die, and then you have a D6 sort of left over, which you can just turn around and throw that D6 asset right over to Hank, which he can have.
Perfect. So D6 volunteer firefighters for Hank.
You also cleared the crisis entirely off the map. The population is now happy. More assistance can come into the city, the local suburban areas that the mayor was trying to get in, but didn't want any help. But now, of course, you have helped. But there are two dangerous things happening at the same time. One is the burning city center gets to do its have its turn, and the city hall obstruction gets to have a turn. Okay, I will go with the burning city center first. And the way this works is I present this kind of like I'm attacking or doing something. I can make it get worse by 1 die, stepping up a die, or I can make an attack kind of like a sort of against one of your players. So I'm going to have the burning city center sort of cause all kinds of trouble for Haymaker. And the way I do that is a lot like when it's a test, but it's in reverse. So Haymaker, you need to prepare yourself for a 4d8 roll that's going to come at you by assembling what amounts to being kind of a defensive difficulty pool.
Do I have any kind of prompt as to what's happening?
I can tell you that. In fact, that's useful for you to know. The fire is starting to, another main is broken. And in fact, at the course of someone rushing over to try and see if you are okay, they looked the wrong way. Like, this is some fire team people coming over and say, "Oh, I'm glad you're here. You help us out." Someone like was doing this and let go of it, and then it wrapped around, and then it hit something else, and there's an explosion, right? An explosion of gas or something else underneath the street. You see the asphalt just go towards you, and also the people around you, but you especially.
Okay, so what I'm going to try to do then is I'm going to say, "Come in for the bear hug," and I'm going to grab as many of them as I can, and I'm going to just like hunker down and try to like protect them from the wave.
That's super heroic. I'm in tears now, Adam, at your self-sacrifice.
You should be. All right, so I'm going to use physical because I am a specimen, and with this here training package, possibly crowd control or urban recovery. What do you feel like would be more, or tactical response?
I would say that's probably a good crowd control.
Okay, we're gonna do that, and then I'm going to. So I am setting the difficulty when in this situation, right?
Correct.
And this crisis pool is what again?
It's currently a 4d8.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to hinder myself then. I'm going to do. I can do this all day again.
You've got 0 plot points right now.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to hinder myself then. Actually, I'm going to hinder myself because Hank cannot stand the sight of blood or gore, and he knows these people are around him, and they're about to be, decimated, and he does not like. He wants to keep that from happening, and so I'm going to hinder myself in that way. That this he's very concerned about this. So I think from there, no relationships are applicable, or well, is this is still the same turn? So Anushka's already helped people,
Correct.
and nobody's really near me anyway, right?
Mike has helped you. Mike has helped somebody, and I think.
Can I use the volunteer firefighters asset, like in some way to potentially see if they, Okay.
You can use that. You can use it for the rest of the scene. So you got an extra D6 if you need that.
Well, I need it. All right. So I'm going to do that then, and let's see what happens. I got a 10 with a D6 effect die, but I do have a hitch there.
All right. I'm going to use that hitch on you.
Of course you will.
I'm taking a die out of the Burning City Center, D8. It's gone. You have a D8 complication.
Stress or?
It's stress. It's on your. It's going to be applied to your physical, but it's not greater than your physical yet, so you are not shaken.
Okay.
What that means for those at home, if you take stress of the physical, mental, or social kind, if the die you get is larger than your die in that particular attribute, then you are shaken. You can only add one of your dice from your pool to total instead of two. But because Haymaker is a extraordinary specimen, as he said before, this is not currently a problem. However, when I roll, I get to add that right back in again. So, it's going to be a problem.
Well, I accidentally hit in turn, but I remember that it was a 10 and a D6 effect die. So,
all right, I can still see that on my screen here. So
okay,
a
good.
10, huh? Let's see how this goes. I'll put 4d8 in there. It's 3d8 for the pool, and then 1 for your stress that goes in there too. And I roll it, and I get 15.
Son of a...
That's nice. That's not a heroic success for this chat. That's me getting a 5 points more. So that's you won't count that. But I'm just gonna throw some stress at you. It's gonna be a D10 stress.
Of physical?
I'm gonna say physical because that was what was being done.
So it was already at a D8 though. What does that mean?
Well, if it's a larger die, it steps it up by 1.
Okay.
Sorry, if it's a larger die, it replaces it. So actually what happened is your D8 is gone and the D10's in there instead. So you're lucky then. If it was something else, it would have been more. But it would have been a D8 stress, but it's been put up by 1 because of my excellent dice roll. So how this works is that you are covering everybody. Everyone is safe except you.
Everyone else is okay. Okay.
Yeah. They kind of were out of the way. You took it all in the back. You got this you could feel it go through the suit. It was like an explosion of it goes boom, 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 and then you hear this loud roar of flames and things going past your ears. You got the suit on, you can still hear it from inside, but it was loud enough to just you could register quite loudly. And then maybe 3 or 4 thumps on your back as chunks of asphalt just explode back into you. So you're not shaken yet. Because most people will be taken down by this, but you're actually still fine. But you are pretty badly hit.
But very importantly, it was in my back and I didn't see what happened. Very important.
All right. Then the last thing to happen is the burning city center now has 3d8 as its pool, which was at least something. It got a little bit better, but only at the cost of you. The City Hall obstruction is currently at 2d8, and I'm just going to make that one of those d8s go up to the d10. That's what it does. It just worsens. Somebody is getting contacted inside the halls of government here and telling them all about this amazing conversation they had with some podcaster person and also their favorite ballroom dance hero. But then other people are within the same places that are overhearing this thinking, oh, no, we got to keep putting up those walls. So we'll go around back again to the new turn. It's a new turn. Everything else has been done. Thank you all for your tremendous success. The outcome of that was that you've got no panic population. You've got a burning city center that may be manageable and just 2 dice left in that obstruction thing. Hank, your team leader, who goes first this round?
I'm going to go ahead and let Sam go first because I want to see what he's doing there.
All right. So at some point on the way to deposit signage, I got dropped off at City Hall for this meeting with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is a thing, Cam, but my goal, I think, is to have the city's emergency infrastructure placed under the command of Haymaker. That's the goal of this of my meeting with the mayor.
Haymaker specifically, or the World Crisis Agency and the Hammerheads in specific?
I mean, probably just because we're on the ground. It would be Haymaker, who I'm specifically this guy needs to be calling the shots.
Right.
So let's see here. I'm gonna I land. I head on into City Hall. I'm gonna throw my social into this again from
You want
attributes.
to see how badly you had to beat
Yes,
first
please.
before?
Yes.
Okay. I got D8 and D10 in this pool now. And last time I did pretty good. This time I get a 5. That's how good I'm getting. I'm getting really good now. You got 5 to beat.
All right.
You've been fine against me.
So I'm gonna go social. I'm gonna go from my training.
It's still legal specialist.
Yeah, it would still be legal specialist.
You could make a case for logistics if you didn't have good legal specialists, but you're all about the law, and you could probably quote some kind of citation that's a federal or world response.
Absolutely. And then for my distinction, because I'm trying to be sort of like disarming and and not threatening to this weird ego fragile mayor. I'm gonna go with my daddy always said, so I can be, you know, folksy and fun instead of my approach / attitude is I object, which would be a little more aggro. So I'm gonna go folksy with my daddy always said. And then would it be possible to get help from one of my fellow Hammerheads in the form of showing them a live feed of Haymaker saving all of these lives?
Oh yeah, that kind of thing is.
You want me to, you know, get that all connected in? I mean, everybody's pretty much got the other message.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm making a mental note that the first thing the Russian on the team did was hack into the social media and all that. But yes, in the meantime, that would
good for the power of good. They do this.
Absolutely, sure, absolutely. But yes, that help would be appreciated.
Sam, also, you notice when you're in there, because you show up this place, you're in the city hall now, and it's all like panicking outside. They're keeping it really hush hush in here, like it's almost like walking into a different place.
Oh wow!
Like, it's soundproofed almost to some degree. You get the sense from this place that they're keeping all the messaging out so that it doesn't get to the mayor. So all those things coming on people's phones and everything, that's not here. So you're coming in with a sort of a sense that maybe you do need Anushka's help to pierce that firewall.
Oh, okay, interesting. So as I get in, I kind of hit pause on the live feed on the video and comment to Nesting Doll. And I'm just like, yeah, there's a real weird culty vibe going on in City Hall here. None of our messaging's getting through. I need you to look. I'm not real comfortable asking you to, you know, panic an American political process into effect, but I
political process in America, very funny. Okay, don't worry, I can do this for you. Just hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I need you to blow up the city hall a little bit.
All right, Nesting Doll, what is your relationship to?
I said D6.
Oh
He's
yeah,
good for a
everyone
laugh.
loves him. That's the problem. Does anyone have anything more? I guess Haymaker does.
Haymaker he knows their stuff, so but yeah.
All right, you got that extra D6 then, Joe. You can put that.
Okay, so I'll add that extra D6. All right. Yeah, I think Haymaker is the only one that has a positive opinion of me because I helped him get that forming grill license.
Neutral opinion.
Yeah, okay, neutral. I'll take it. All right. So I've got my dice lined up. I'm going to roll this. Okay, that's not bad.
Looks like another heroic success.
It does, doesn't it? You know what would be super good is if you were to spend a plot point. You've got a 14, right? And you've got that 2 sitting out there. If you put that spin a plot point and move the 2 into your total, you'll get 16. Which would be I don't know if you can do it, but we'll just figure it out. We know it. So it's 16. That would be 2 heroic successes, which would move your D8 from D8 to D10 to D12, which would be enough to get rid of that big D10 in the pool.
Boom. All right, so I dragged it over. So I guess in the case of 2 heroic successes, I'm just walking into this place, and like as I'm walking past people's devices, their devices are starting to blow up. Emergency stuff, and I'm just loudly introducing myself and saying that I have a 1:30 with the mayor.
Yeah, that's awesome. That the whole kind of like clever little eggshell of protection around the mayor has now gone, and so now all that's left is the mayor himself. And you walk into the room and see him, and he's behind a desk on the phone with somebody, and saying, "I'll have to get back to you," and puts it down. So, Mellie, it's another one of those heroic successes from this amazing group of people for the chat. What is
enter the giveaway with exclamation point, his daddy said.
Daddy said. Awesome. And that poll is now down to a D8. Who's going to go next, Joe?
I'm going to since she's got the I think since the big crisis point right now is the fire, I'm gonna throw it back to Haymaker.
Cool.
All right. So the fire, these people are safe. I have been hurt.
Yeah.
And the ground is basically jello. Is there anything else that I should know?
No, with you've got this additional support from you can see more fire trucks coming in or support helping. You know, the city's overtaxed thoroughfares have been cleared a little bit, so that's helping a bit. But you've still got buildings on fire, and so you've got this moment where you sort of think, I've got to pull it together and do something about organizing that whole crowd of support.
So yeah. That is what I'm going to do. As soon as I get up, people are passing behind me and they're like, "Oh my, you need to," and I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. And as I'm like probably bleeding out of my back, and then I see the volunteers starting to come in, and I'm just going to start coordinating and telling which truck where to go. And then, basically just using that knowledge to tell them where they need to spray. And then as I noticed that other places were running out of water, I'm saying there's a big reservoir up there, pipe into that, get up there, and start to coordinate.
So you're kind of going fire chief, basically. They didn't have one here, and you've got that.
Obviously.
Now, the beauty of this is, and to keep this in mind for anyone else who gets stress on their dice, if you don't use your physical, you don't worry about the stress on it, right? So if
that was my plan.
What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got lots of resource dice left, Adam, if you...
Yeah, so the one that is all about... I could use an IT to try to coordinate across the distance, because I imagine they're pretty spread out. So I think that's probably a good idea here.
All right, so Hammerhead.
How many of those do we have left?
We have 2 of those.
2.
Okay, I'll just use 1.
You fly in and dump another IT module out the back of the Hammerhead, which is much very, very well packed, and they don't have problems when they land. These sort of crates that come down with chum. You've got that available to you, Adam. The other thing is too, if the more the more heroic successes you get, you've noticed before in previous rolls now, that does step up the effect die. You've got 3d8. If somehow you are able to do it, you can probably get 2 effect dice out of this if you were to step up one of your dice to past d12, right? And that would at least reduce another die, which is something you may want to be aiming for in some way. So the higher the total you get in some way, this is why using resource dice is good. They actually do help you even beyond success. They help things get better.
Got it.
You have the asset to volunteer firefighters D6.
Yep, got it. The other thing, so basically as that module, I just saw that in my head is like, the Hammerhead ship kind of shoots it out like a drone, and it like lands on the ground or something. So as that's happening, I walk over to it, and of course I can still find my phone even though I'm in this suit, because nobody's going anywhere without that anyway. And so I pull that out of a front pocket, and I hit my intro music again, and then pull out the loudspeaker comm there, and then you see it like come up, and there's speakers going out to all of the firefighters, and then I just start addressing all of them. Hey, listen up here. This is Hank, Haymaker Haddix, coming at you from right in the middle of this giant ass fire. We need to get this thing under control ASAP. And then I start just, trying to use the celebrity to hopefully get them to pay attention and act like I'm in charge.
I like it.
All right.
Me versus this fire at the Cow Palace. Okay.
That water tower may have dropped me before, but we're going to get it. And so...
Did you want to spend a plot point?
I do.
To put up your
to put up which is best, the attribute you're saying.
Yeah, because there's no, you would have to add to the crisis pool to step up your training package, which is the D10. I would say you could put up the social to D10 by spending a point, because you're using your fame connecting to your old life is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So step up your life before.
Yeah.
Can I spend 2 plot points?
No, your life before will be D8 still.
Okay.
But if you spend a plot point, you can step up an attribute when you connect to your old life. That's a special effect underneath the life before
Got it.
distinction.
Understood. Got it.
You can spend more plot points if you want. You just can't. Oh, you mean can you spend multiple times to do that on that one particular thing? No.
Okay. All right. I think I'm good here. So let's see if this goes better. I got an 18 with a hitch.
Oh dear. I'm going to go ahead and burn one of those D8s out of my pool to activate that and step up your pain to D12 level. You've got that D12 now. This will be the last thing you can do before being shaken.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't roll my dice first. You don't even
I just remembered that too, Cam. Because I was thinking about, if you'll allow me to, I may change up my my result dice there though and get a larger effect die, depending.
Yeah, well, I got a 16. You know how last time, when the first time I did this, I got a 16 with 2 D8s?
Unbelievable.
Adam, you still have your D6 resource though, Dad.
I do. Yeah. Okay. All right. So real quick, my stress, physical stress is up to a D12 now. And then, so I've rolled this, and to remember it real quick.
But you do get a plot point.
Yeah, I'll get that when I intern. So I've got an 18 and a D6 effect die right now. And so then I'll roll the other, and it's a D6 resource pool.
Yep.
So I rolled a 3 there.
So 21.
Yes.
And you got the heroic success.
Yeah.
It sure was hard to get there. All right.
Your muscles are more than vanity.
Yeah, you didn't clear a die. You only set one down to D6, but that's still something.
Okay.
However, I spent one out of the pool, and so there's now only 2 dice, and there's an 8 and a 6 left.
So that was more physical stress. So basically, I tweaked my back that is probably bleeding from a gaping hole right now as I was flexing and speaking into the megaphone.
Yeah, I mean, like, tweak your back is like a one way of putting it.
That's the way he would say it.
Yeah. All right, just to get this the current state of affairs, because I know what time it is. We have a D8 and a D6 in the burning city center, and we have a D8 in the city hall obstruction. So we could probably clear that with but we'll see. How are we doing on time there, Adam?
10 minutes or so. So we'll
All right.
we'll see how it goes. So at that point, Haymaker is then he's like slamming the little comm thing. I don't know how any of this stuff works, and then he finally thinks that he gets back, and he's like, oh, and he drops that, and then he starts talking into his mask, and he's like, hey, if you're done getting everybody out of the city, we sure could use some help at the fire. And I'm going to let Aliza go next.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, so I have finished up with the signage and the sign spinning, so I'm gonna make my way over, make my way over to the fire.
All right, now you can get picked up. Doodle can come swinging through there, grab you if you want, or you could have had someone useful grab you and do that yourself if you're going to commandeer somebody. There are many people who are fans of you, but most people will be heading away from the fire, not towards it.
Right. Where is our ship right now?
I'm over at the
Flying
Zippy
around.
Mart.
Okay. Am I close to it?
The good news is you don't have to be close because you can just narrate that that's what happens. We don't worry
right.
as much about that physical distance if you can work it in. But one thing I did think just of right now, you did clear a whole bunch of people out, and then that let some of the suburban firefighters come in. One of them could have just stopped by and said, "Hey, you want to ride?" And you could have said, "All right." So in fact, that help that's arriving from the assistance that was given earlier also manifests in the form of Flourish showing up right where Haymaker needs the assistance the most.
Great. Okay, so I would like to say, I don't know if you'll let me get away with this, Cam, but
We'll see.
I'm imagining that there's also in the burning city center, there's going to be some people who might need to be evacuated, or B, some dangerous materials that we don't want to catch fire. So depending on which one I can focus on with hazmat, I'd like to go in and just protect things from burning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, in fact, the hazmat is a good avenue. You can go in there and you can you've got your suit head up and suit that up there and target maybe some area where you think there's probably a chemical store or other kinds of something that has a big symbol on the side saying "Do not expose to flames."
Yeah, flammable, right? All that. Cool. All right. So hazmat, going in there, physical.
Let me roll the dice for you so you know how bad it's going to be.
Oh, my bad. Yep.
Oh, no worries. I forgot last time, so I'm obviously on top of it. I've got a D8 and D6, so it might not be so bad. Let me just roll this.
Okay.
You have a complication of cost of fame, which I'm also going to include in here because it does get in your way a bit. So I'll just drop that in there, and then we'll roll and see how bad this is. 9, and I got a hitch. If you want, you can spend a plot point and get rid of that awful cost of fame thing for you from now on, or you could save it for your roll.
I might need it. Might need my one plot point later.
Yeah.
So
9 is what you have to beat.
Okay. All right. Adding hazmat, physical, and then of my background, let's see. Find the grandeur and everything. Always wants to plan in advance. I would say I'm going to give myself the hindrance of always wanting to plan in advance, because this is kind of like I don't know where to find what I need to protect. So I'm like, I wish I had a layout, but okay, I'll just go find something.
Yep.
All right. And then who would be able to help me with this?
Well, you've got all kinds of people. Who's helped already in this round?
Oh, in this
Gryffindor
round.
has.
Me.
Yep. Softball's kind of busy with the mayor at the moment. But Haymaker's right there. He hasn't helped anybody.
Okay. Well, Haymaker, you've been here at this location. Maybe you can just point me in some directions and say, oh, I saw some flammable stuff over there.
Yeah, we've got some things that we don't want to go boom that direction.
Okay. Great.
What is your dice rating?
It's a D6.
D6.
All right.
In this moment, I wish that our relationship was stronger. But
We'll work on that.
Yep.
All right. And that's my roll. Oh, wow. Okay, I got a 9.
Oh, goodness. That's not enough to beat it, though.
So it's... oh, wait, I have a
point?
plot point. Yeah.
You can't add in anything in... oh, no. Yeah, you can put that D4 in there. Yeah. Move that over from effect, because you'll get a D4
really?
anyway.
Do I literally just drag and drop it into... Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll spend my plot point and do that.
And you get 11.
Woohoo!
Which is enough to beat it. You step down one of the dice in there. Probably you want to drop the 8 down to a 6 or the 6 to nothing. Which one do you want to do?
Let's do 6 to nothing.
All right, that is gone. All right, cool. Yeah, that was you taking care of a minor problem that could have gotten into a much bigger problem at some point.
Whew.
And so narrate how that works. What did you do?
So yes, Haymaker pointed me in the right direction. I have my firefighter ride, and I'm like, you know what? I got some directions. Let's go over to that chemical factory and just get that fire out right away, and the fire around it, and that's what we do.
Awesome. And you've got hazmat skills to isolate the things you need to isolate.
Mm-hmm.
Taking
Protect
care of
them,
it.
make sure
Very
they're
good.
not going to like get caught on fire if the fire blows this way again.
All right, I think we have time to get to Doolittle for the finale here.
All right. So what's a quick status check on what we need to take care of here?
You have 1 die left in Burning City Center and 1 die left in City Hall.
Okay.
They're both 8s.
They're both 8s, and what am I currently stronger in? All right, let's take care of that fire. All right, so that water tower is still probably standing, albeit a little bit bent. And I'm still piloting the Hammerhead right now.
You are. It's a beast.
It's a real beast. So what I want to do is fly over the burning city center, and then try and lower someone down and see if they can crack open that water tower, and just get that to pour down. And I want to see. You know what? How about I lower Softboil down onto that water tower while I pilot it?
He's a little busy at the mayor's office, though, unfortunately.
Okay.
if you are communicating any of this over the comm, Haymaker is going to be like, "Hey, listen, if you're going at that water tower again,
Yeah.
you pick me up."
Yeah, unfortunately, Haymaker can't assist you.
Okay.
Is there anyone? Did Nesting Doll help already too?
I helped
Yeah.
already. Flourish hasn't helped, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think flying in and picking up flowers to take it.
Can her bird handle the plane while she lowers down?
You and I both know that Harold can't. That's an attack and you know it. Harold is very smart.
peck. All right.
Pecks at the controls. All right, so I'm going to pick
I
up
will roll my
Flourish.
1 single die for the badness of the fire, and we'll see how bad I get. If it's an 8, you're in trouble. If it's a 1, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh, my. Why do I even jinx myself? All right, so. Friends, family, colleagues, the fire doesn't do a whole lot this round because it is basically a 0. So you can narrate whatever you like going into this. There, Vanessa, good job.
Bird.
Bird. If you want the bird to be involved, probably helps.
All right, since I have full control over the situation, I guess. All right, so despite what Softboiled said, Harold has actually mastered the autopilot pretty well. So I got Harold, the African gray parrot, over at the autopilot controls, and he's lowering me down, and I crack open that water tower, and water pours down over the burning cityscape.
It's so epic. It's almost impossible to imagine it in any kind of cinematic environment.
Yeah, it's impossible to imagine Harold is once again a hero, other than that time when he saved Softboiled's life.
And Haymaker, under his breath, just simply says, "Well, I loosened it up."
Why don't you roll anyway and see
did.
how bad we get? Put together your pool and just roll it.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do a little roll here. Would I do physical, mental, or social for this one?
This is all physical. You're going in there.
All
and battling
physical.
this thing, aren't you?
It's all me and Harold.
Mhm.
And then I'm assuming firefighting as well.
Correct.
So I'd use that training package. And
The good part is it doesn't have to be good. I mean, whatever you roll will be enough.
Oh yeah, I could just whisper at this fire and we're pretty good right now. And you know what? Let's throw
Don't
there's
botch.
yeah.
Okay, don't botch.
Knock on something. There is no wood on the ship, so I can't knock on it. And I'm gonna keep going with there's no alphas in a pack because Harold and I are working together today.
Using it bad or good?
I'm gonna use it good. We're a good
Good,
team.
then make it a D8, not a D4.
Okay. Me and this bird, one brain. All right. Okay, it's above a 1.
And also more than 5. What does that mean, Mellie?
It's another heroic success.
Yay!
We're about to
Another.
run another giveaway in the chat.
All right. So you've described it already how you smack and crack this thing open, but is there anything wonderful you want to tell people about that? Because it's going to go. Whoop! Gee, made a noise.
Do we have a special bell?
We were ringing the bell. That's the winning bell.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit more of a fudger here and say that you took it out because it was just so good and I rolled a 0.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that it was a D8 and you took it out with a D4, stepped up to a D6. That's still fine. So tell us how this fire was put out finally.
Okay. So this fire was finally put out because I have trained my parrot to slowly lower me down and open up that water tower. It put everything out, and everyone on the ground crew was able to get anyone that was panicking aside safely. And Harold brought me back up onto the ship, where everything is completely chill and fine now, but the ship cat is missing.
All right, so
Stop
just there he is. Because you didn't manage to completely fix the problem with City Hall, that's okay. Not all the crises were put out, but that's going to be a lasting thing. And we may see the fallout of this next time. But the important part is the city has, its population is back under some measure of control. We also have no fires. The city is a grateful city. The city of Cortez City wonders where you were before, and now that you're here, what they would ever do without you. Clearly more than the city has been able to put forward. So another notch in the belt for the World Crisis Agency, and plenty of things for Sam Butters to write about next time if he wants to put together his package of problematic Russian hacking and government oversight. And
They let a bird fly a plane.
He has the cognitive dissonance of a 6-year-old.
I mean, I was sitting right here. I could have flown plane, but no, bird had to do it.
I thought it was a
Learning.
grand display of animal coordination.
Thank you.
Does anybody have an ice pack? I think something happened to my back.
yeah, at which point everyone realizes just how messed up Haymaker is.
Well,
And,
thankfully, we have 3d6 medical supplies we did not use. So, all for you, Hank.
very, very good. I'm going to turn it back over to Adam for the administration of this episode. But I'm glad that everyone did such a great job of doing this. This was amazing. I was a little worried that the dice would be a bit too much for you, but no, clearly not.
Everybody picked it up really, really well, especially first time playing for much of the cast here. So outstanding. And you're learning along with some of the cast members. I really appreciate everyone joining us today. This is an auspicious start and looking forward to what happens next with Hammerheads. So we've got 2 more episodes that we plan to stream before we have a holiday break. So next week, same time, and then the week after that, same time. And we will see what happens in our ongoing Hammerheads saga. I can't wait to see what is going on with the city council and government here. So join us next time for that. Thanks for joining us this time. And thanks to this incredible cast. And we'll see you next time.